And today we would like to discuss unit number 4. Unit number 4 for engineering chemistry of the mechanical first year second semester R20 regulation. Now see this. When we are discussing about unit number 4 is known to be the fuel technology. Then what is known to be a fuel, right? When I'm discussing about a fuel, the fuel is known to be a carbon composition. I'm repeating. The fuel which containing the main element is known to be carbon, right? Then why we are saying the fuel is known to be carbon? When carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, the reaction what we are saying is a combustion reaction. I'm repeating. When the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. When carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, which gives rise to carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. It means that the most of the combustion reaction, I'm repeating, what is known to be a combustion reaction? Any carbon composition that might be a coal, that might be a coke, that might be a crude oil, right? When we are taking any fuel, the fuel must containing the highest percentage of carbon. The fuel must containing the highest percentage of carbon. And today we are discussing about the fuel cells. Sorry, please. Today we're discussing about the fuel technology. And let me ask you the one question: what is known to be a fuel? A fuel which containing carbon composition. A fuel is extracted from the coal containing carbon, charcoal containing carbon, petrol, diesel, wood, producer gas, and oils. They are having the rich percentage of the carbon. A fuel is a combustible substance. I will tell you what is known to be a combustible substance. The word combustible substance is nothing but which can burn in the presence of oxygen. I'm repeating. The word combustible substance indicating that the fuel which containing carbon and the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen. When carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon dioxide. You see this, right? When the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide is known to be the product, and carbon indicating that fuel composition. What is the fuel composition here? The fuel composition is known to be a coal, plus charcoal, petrol, diesel, wood, producer gas, and as well as crude oil components. Now, when we are taking any of the fuel content which containing the carbon, when it is burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide plus thermal energy, liberating thermal energy. So most of the fuel combustible reaction, I'm repeating, what is known to be combustible reaction? The word combustion is nothing but we would like to burn the fuel composition in the presence of oxygen. I'm repeating. What is known to be combustion? The word combustion is nothing but we are burning the fuel component in the presence of oxygen. We would like to burn the fuel component in the presence of oxygen is known to be combustion. By the combustion reaction, it gives rise to product and as well as the heat energy. The process what we are saying as an exothermic reaction, I'm repeating. The process is known to be the exothermic reaction. What is the difference between an exothermic reaction compared with the endothermic reaction? Energy liberated by the system is known to be the exothermic reaction. Energy absorbed by the system is known to be the endothermic reaction. So when we are discussing about the combustible reaction of the fuels, it is known to be that an exothermic reaction. By the exothermic reaction, it liberating the heat, thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy is converting into mechanical work done. Thermal energy in terms converting into mechanical, and the mechanical energy in terms converting into electrical. I will give you a simple example. Now itself in India, about 85 to 90% of electricity is produced from thermal oriented power plant. I'm repeating. In India, about 85% to 90%, 85% of electricity is produced based on the thermal oriented power plant, TPP, thermal power plant. And these thermal power plant containing the coal sample, which containing coal powder, just they would like to burn the coal sample, right? When they are burning the coal powder in the combustion chamber, it liberating carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy transfers into mechanical energy in terms converting into electrical, right? So when we're discussing about the fuels of the carbon composites, the fuels of carbon composites burns in the presence of oxygen, it liberating thermal energy, amount of thermal energy in terms converting into mechanical and as well as electrical. Right. Let me discuss the classification of the fuel. When we're discussing about the classification of the fuels are classified into two main classification. Number one is known to be natural fuel. Number two is known to be synthetical fuel. What is the difference between natural fuel? Natural fuels are extracted during the mining process, right? Natural fuels are extracted by the mining process, or natural fuels are extracted by the nature. We can extract from the plant. We can extract the wood from the plant. Wood is known to be a natural resources. The peat from the plant sources, coal by the mining process, crude oil from the mining process. So they are known to be the natural fuel. Then what is known to be an artificial fuel or secondary fuel? Artificial fuel or the secondary fuel or synthetical fuel, natural fuel or the primary fuel, artificial or the secondary fuel. When we are discussing about the secondary fuels, and the secondary fuels are extracted from the primary fuels, right? Primary fuels gives rise to the secondary fuel. From the petroleum product, we are extracting coke. The wood gives rise to coal, gives rise to coke, and coal gives rise to the charcoal. And the petroleum product like crude oil, the crude oil gives rise to petrol, coal gas, and as well as the diesel. So when we are discussing natural fuels gives rise to secondary fuel. Primary fuel gives rise to the secondary fuel. Then when we are discussing about natural or the secondary fuel, they are containing the rich percentage of carbon. Point which containing the highest percentage of carbon. Number one condition. The second condition, which is participating in the combustion reaction. They burns in the presence of oxygen. Then which can participating in the combustion reaction, which burns in the presence of oxygen. Right. There are the two types of main combustible reaction. When the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon dioxide, which gives rise to carbon dioxide. When the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it gives rise to carbon monoxide. I'm repeating, which gives rise to carbon dioxide and which gives rise to carbon monoxide. Simple. C plus O2 gives rise to carbon dioxide and C plus half O2 gives rise to carbon monoxide. Along with that, it liberating thermal energy. Along with that, liberating thermal energy. Along with that, it liberating thermal energy. Amount of thermal energy is converting into mechanical. Mechanical energy is converting into electrical. So now when we are discussing about the primary and the secondary fuel, primary fuels are extracted from the nature. Secondary fuels are extracted from the primary fuel, both containing the highest percentage of carbon and both are participating in the combustible reaction or combustion reaction. By the combustion reaction, they are liberating high amount of thermal energy. Now let me see the continuation. Let me see the classification of the primary and as well as secondary fuels. You see this. Now, when we are discussing about the classification of the primary and as well as secondary fuel, when we are discussing the classification of primary and as well as secondary fuel, the concept chala baguntundani jagrata villa. Primary fuels are extracted from the nature. Primary fuel that might be three main classification based on the physical state. Number one is known to be solid primary fuel. Number two is known to be liquid. Number three is known to be gaseous. Solid fuels best example wood, peat, lignite, coal, dung. Liquid fuels best example crude oil. And the gaseous primary fuel best example natural gas. Right? Natural gas is extracted during the process of mining. Crude oil is extracted during the process of mining. Then, and these solids are identified. The solids are identified. Coal is identified during the mining process. Just like wood and the peat is extracted from the plant sources. And the lignite is also extracted by the mining process. Now, these are known to be primary fuels. And the primary fuels gives rise to secondary fuels. The primary fuel derivatives are known to be secondary fuel. Primary fuels gives rise to synthetical fuels, and the synthetical fuels again of three classification based on the physical state. It is of three main classification. Number one is known to be solid, number two is known to be liquid, number three is known to be gaseous. I'm repeating. Solid, liquid, and as well as the gaseous. Right? Now, when we are discussing about solid, liquid, and as well as the gaseous, solid, coke, charcoal, petroleum, coke, coal, and liquid. Then liquid when we're taking kerosene, diesel, petrol, fuel, synthetical gasoline. Next, gasoline, what we're saying is water gas, oil gas, biogas, blast furnace gases. Then when we're discussing about the primary and the secondary fuels, primary and the secondary fuels are further classified based on the physical state. It is of again three main classifications: solid, liquid, gaseous fuel, solid, liquid, and as well as gaseous fuels. Right? Next. Let me tell you how we are calculating thermal energy. Point Charles Jatley. The how we are calculating thermal energy. In the fuel technology, when we are discussing, we are calculating the thermal energy based on the calorific value. What is known to be the calorific value? Calorific value can be defined as this is. Calorific value can be defined as calorific value of a fuel is the total quantity of the heat liberated when unit mass of the fuel burns completely. I'm repeating. Unit mass and the unit mass is known to be that 1 gram, a fixed volume. I'm repeating. Calorific value can be defined as the total quantity of heat is liberated, the amount of the heat is liberated. I'm repeating. The amount of that heat is liberated when we are taking 1 unit mass of the fuel sample burns completely in the presence of oxygen condition. The amount of the heat that is liberated during the combustion reaction, which is identified in the following units. The first one is known to be calorie. Number 2 is known to be kilocalorie. Number 3 is known to be the British thermal units. The first one I'm saying is calorie. What is known to be calorie here? The word that calorie is nothing but the amount of the heat that should be transferred to the water. Suppose I'm taking any of the fuel sample containing carbon, and it is burns in the presence of oxygen. Best example in coal is simple. I'm taking one gram of coal sample. What is known to be calorie calculation? Just here I'm taking the 1 gram of coal sample, 1 gram of coal sample containing carbon, and the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen. It gives rise to carbon dioxide. It gives rise to carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. Carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy we should calculate it in the units of calorie, kilocalorie, and as well as British thermal unit. Right. Now, when we are taking the fuel sample like coal, the coal is known to be the solid, right, which burns in the presence of oxygen. It gives rise to carbon dioxide plus thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy initially transfers to the water. Ela calculate chestar jaatga chuddam. The amount of thermal energy transfers to the water, right? Then what will happen? The water is present in the boiler system. Water is present in the boiler system. When thermal energy transfers to the water and the water is in the liquid state, because of absorbing the temperature, the water temperature increases initially, right? The liquid state initially the water at the room temperature, by absorbing thermal energy, from the combustion reaction. Combustion reaction ante 1 gram coal sample తీసుకొని burn చేస్తున్నారు. For suppose it liberating 5 degrees centigrade temperature అనుకున్నాను. And these 5 degrees centigrade temperature directly transfers to the water. So initial room temperature is known to be that 25 degrees centigrade, and the rise in the temperature is known to be the 30 degrees centigrade. Okay, the rise in the temperature we are calculating where thermal energy transfers to the water. So room temperature water is increases to 30 degrees centigrade. So based on that, we are calculating the amount of thermal energy which is increased, the amount of heat required. See here, the amount of the heat is required to rise the temperature, of 1 gram of water. 1 gram of water fixed. 1 gram of fuel sample fixed. Unit volume fixed responding. Water sample fixed responding. So the amount of heat energy required, the amount of the heat required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree centigrade temperature. 1 degree centigrade అంటే మనం ఏం చెప్పొచ్చండి? Suppose 15 అయితే 16, 25 అయితే 26 అలా తీసుకున్నాను. So the amount of the heat required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water. Okay, and that value what we are saying is calorie per gram. And then what is going to be kilocalorie per kg? When we are discussing about kilocalorie per kg, the amount of the heat is required to rise the temperature, to increase the temperature of 1 kg of water for 1 degree centigrade. 1 kg of water మీకు ఎనర్జీ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ పంపించున్నాను. 1 kg of water temperature 1 degree increase చేయడానికి ఎంత ఎనర్జీ కావాలో దాన్ని ఏం చెప్తాడు? కిలోకాలరీ పర్ గ్రామ్ అంటారు. ఇట్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి కిలోకాలరీ పర్ గ్రామ్. ఐ రిపీట్ ఇట్. The quantity of the heat required or the amount of the heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kg gram of water. I'm repeating. 1 kg gram of water to 1 degree centigrade temperature. 1 kg of water to 1 degree centigrade temperature is known to be that kilocalorie per gram, kilocalorie per kg, calorie per gram, kilocalorie per kg. Next, then what is known to be the British thermal unit? Now, when we are discussing about British thermal unit, when we are discussing about British thermal unit, When we are discussing about British thermal unit is nothing but the amount of the heat is required to raise the temperature of 1 foreign degree centigrade temperature. Point గుర్తుంచుకోండి. ఇక్కడ చూడండి 1 degree centigrade of 1 gram of water. 1 degree centigrade 1 gram of water. అండి ఇక్కడ ఏంటి 1 degree centigrade 1 kg of water. 1 kg of water temperature మీరు ఇంక్రీజ్ చేస్తారు. ఇక్కడ then 1 gram of now 1 kg. Now when you are taking 1 pound of water, you see this 1 pound of water and 1 foreign degree temperature. Point గుర్తుంచుకోండి. And here we are taking the water weight should be 1 pound. The water weight should be 1 pound, and the rise in the temperature should be 1 foreign degree centigrade, 1 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So the calculation is based on that the amount of energy that might be transferred to the water. The calculation is identified. That means that the amount of the heat liberated during the combustion reaction, the amount of the heat liberated because of the combustion of carbon composition, where the carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, and here we are taking the carbon is known to be the coal sample. The coal sample burns in the presence of oxygen, it liberating thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy transfers to the water. The amount of thermal energy that is transfers to the water. When we are transferring the energy to the water, I'm repeating, the amount of thermal energy that is transfers to the water, right? Now we should take the calculation. If the water weight is equals to 1 gram, the resultant calculation, what we are saying is calorie per gram. If the water weight is known to be that 1 kg, water weight will 1 kg. The resultant calculation, what we are saying is kilocalorie per gram. If the water weight, when we are taking as a 1 pound, I'm repeating, if the water weight, what we are saying, the water weight is known to be the 1 pound. Now we are taking the calculation is known to be that British thermal units, right? Increment same, 1 gram of water to 1 degree centigrade temperature. 1 kg of water to 1 degree centigrade temperature. 1 pound of water, change 1 pound of water to 1 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So calorie per gram, kilocalorie per kg, and as well as British thermal units. The 3 units during combustion reaction, it's liberating some amount of thermal energy. The amount of thermal energy liberated during the combustion reaction, which is calculated in the units of calorie, kilocalorie, and as well as British thermal units. Next, how we are calculating HCV and as well as LCV values. How we are calculating HCV and as well as LCV values. HCV, LCV values what is known to be a coal sample, right? Now, when we are taking any combustible matter like a coal sample, I'm taking a coal is the best example for combustible matter because the coal containing highest percentage of carbon. Okay, when the coal is burns in the presence of oxygen, you see this oxygen condition of burn cheyandi. When the coal is burns in the presence of oxygen, what will happen? When a coal sample burns in the presence of oxygen, it liberating some amount of thermal energy, right? It gives rise to the byproduct value is equals to carbon dioxide, and the reaction is known to be exothermic reaction. It liberating thermal energy, the symbol indicating thermal energy. Along thermal energy, it containing exhaust gas. Okay, now the amount of thermal energy including exhaust gas, what we are saying is HCV. The amount of thermal energy including exhaust gases. Exhaust gases might be carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, nitrogen gases, because coal sample containing highest percentage of carbon and the coal sample containing very less percentage of sulfur. It containing very less percentage of nitrogen and it containing less percentage of hydrogen. So when we are discussing about exhaust gases, along with that exhaust gases, that means that when we are burning the coal sample, coal containing the carbon, when the coal is burns in the presence of oxygen, coal gives rise to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is known to be exhaust gas. Along with the exhaust gas, we are calculating thermal energy that is known to be the high calorific value. Simple. Then what is known to be the lower calorific value? The lower calorific value is known to be the net calorific value, which is identified as 1 gram of the coal sample or the fuel sample burns completely, and the byproducts are permitted to escape. That means that the amount of thermal energy excluding exhaust gases. Simple. the amount of thermal energy excluding exhaust gases తీసేయనని thermal energy calculate చేయాలి, and it is known to be the lower calorific value. Gross calorific value is nothing but initial thermal energy, and thermal energy is also containing exhaust gases. Now when we are separating the exhaust gases they can take some amount of energy. Exhaust gases ఎప్పుడైతే మనం కంబక్షన్ ఛాంబర్ నుంచి సెపరేట్ చేస్తామో ఎగ్జాస్ట్ గ్యాసెస్ ఏం చేస్తాయంటే కొంత ఎనర్జీ తీసుకుని వెళ్ళిపోతాయండి. సో now we are calculating HCV and LCV అండి. జాగ్రత్తగా విందాం. What is the difference between HCV and LCV? HCV is nothing but high calorific value. LCV is known to be the lower calorific value. Now when we are discussing HCV, HCV is nothing but higher calorific value during the combustion reaction. Okay, during the combustion process, initial combustion process, it gives rise to carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide, carbon oxides, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide. Nitrogen is present as ammonia, hydrogen is present as a water, along with the liberating thermal energy. Now we are calculating the total thermal energy with the combustible matter. We are calculating the total thermal energy with the combustible matter, what we are saying as a gross calorific value. The next condition what we are taking, what we are calculating is known to be the lower calorific value. I will tell you what is known to be the lower calorific value. Now when we are discussing about the lower calorific value, the lower calorific value is nothing but from the combustion chamber we are separating exhaust gases. Combustion chamber నుంచి మీరు ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే exhaust gases separate చేసేస్తారు. అంటే ఏంటి? Simple. Combustion reaction, carbon gives rise to carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a major exhaust gas. Just I would like to separate exhaust gas from the combustion chamber. Okay, through exhaust chamber. Then what will happen? During the process of the liberation of carbon dioxide from the combustion chamber, removing the carbon dioxide from the combustion chamber, there might be some loss of thermal energy. It is known to be the LCV. I will tell you what is the difference between HCV and LCV. HCV is known to be the total calorific value. LCV is known to be the net calorific value. HCV is known to be the gross calorific value. LCV is known to be the net calorific value. HCV is known to be the total calorific value where the combustion gases are present in the combustion chamber, and LCV is known to be the net calorific value where the byproducts are known to be that combustion gases are permitted to escape. Okay, and there is a formula to calculate the LCV value. So see this, LCV is equals to HCV value minus 0.09 into 587. I'm repeating. What is known to be 587? The word 587 indicating that latent heat of vaporization. I'm repeating. What is known to be 587? The word that 587 is known to be that latent heat of vaporization. Okay, LHS value. Latent heat of vaporization. Now we are taking LCV is equals to HCV minus 0.09 into 587. Latent heat of vaporization value is equals to 587 standard. Now based on this formula, we are calculating LCV value. Now we will have a question here, and the how we are calculating the HCV value. The how we are calculating HCV value. The series HCV value is calculated with the help of a bomb calorimeter calculation. I will tell you what is known to be the bomb calorimeter calculation series. Okay. Now different coal samples తీసుకొని మనం HCV calculate చేద్దాం. ఒకసారి చూడండి. There is a formula what we are saying as a Dulong, and the Dulong formula calculating HCV and LCV. When we are taking the coal sample containing carbon, the coal sample containing hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, and it containing some part of ash. You see this. Coal containing highest percentage of carbon, which is equals to 80%. Hydrogen, different percentage is called. Then how we are calculating high calorific value? The total calorific value is calculated using the formula. The formula what we are saying is a Dulong. Just చూడండి. Formula ఏం చెప్తున్నాను? Dulong formula అంటారు. Dulong formula ఏంటి? 1/100 into 80 into percentage of carbon. You see this. 34,500 percentage of hydrogen minus percentage of oxygen divided by 8. 20 to 40 into percentage of sulfur. The formula also గుర్తుంచుకోండి. The how we are calculating the HCV value based on the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen present in the coal sample. Generally, మనం తీసుకున్న coal samples ఏముంటాయండి? In general, when we are taking the coal sample, and this coal sample containing carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur. Now to calculate the HCV and LCV values of the fuel sample based on the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, and the ash, the formula is known to be that Dulong formula. I'm repeating, the formula is known to be that Dulong formula. When we are taking a Dulong formula, the formula is like this. హెచ్సివి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు ఫార్ములా అందరికీ మైండ్లో ఉండాలి, ఎగ్జామినేషన్లో డైరెక్ట్ ఎస్ఏ క్వశ్చన్ ఇస్తాడండి, జాగ్రత్తగా విందాం. హెచ్సివి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు 1/100 ఇంటూ 80 ఇంటూ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ కార్బన్, 34,500 into percentage of hydrogen minus percentage of oxygen divided by 8, 20 to 40 into percentage of sulfur. Now it is known to be HCF formula. ఇందులో పర్సెంటేజ్ మనకి ఇచ్చాడు చూడండి ఒకసారి. పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ కార్బన్ ఇచ్చాడు, ఎంత ఇచ్చాడు ఇక్కడ 80%, సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేసేయండి. హైడ్రోజన్ ఎంత ఇచ్చాడండి 7 ఇచ్చాడు, సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. ఆక్సిజన్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఎంత ఇచ్చాడండి 3 ఇచ్చాడు, సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. నేను సల్ఫర్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఎంత ఇచ్చాడు అన్న 3.5 ఇచ్చాడు. 2240 into 3.5% సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేయండి. రిజల్టెంట్ మనకి ఎంత వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ 8,828 calorie per gram హెచ్సివి. ఇప్పుడు ఎల్సివి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయండి. ఎల్సివి ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తారు? ఎల్సివి ఈజ్ క్యాలిక్యులేటెడ్ యూజింగ్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ ఫార్ములా. ఎల్సివి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు సింపుల్, ఎల్సివి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు హెచ్సివి మైనస్ 0.09 ఇంటూ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ హైడ్రోజన్ ఇంటూ ఎల్హెచ్ఎస్ వాల్యూ, లేటెంట్ హీట్ ఆఫ్ వాపరైజేషన్. దీని వాల్యూ స్టాండర్డ్ అండి, దట్ ఈస్ నోన్ టు బి దట్ 587. 8828 మన హెచ్సివి వాల్యూ వస్తుందండి. హెచ్సివి వాల్యూ ఎంత 8828 and repeating 8828 minus 0.09 into percentage of hydrogen value వాడు ఇచ్చేస్తారు చూడండి ఒకసారి. You see this percentage of hydrogen ఎంత ఇచ్చాడండి 7 ఇచ్చాడు. Percentage of hydrogen equals to 7, latent heat of vaporization value 587. So HCV value is equals to 8,828. LCV value is equals to 8,458 calorie per gram. So now when we are calculating any fuel sample, right? Any fuel sample, high caloric and lower calorific value. High caloric and lower calorific value are calculated in the units of calorie per gram, kilocalorie per kg, and as well as British thermal unit. When we are calculating the thermal values, right? When we are calculating thermal energy of the fuel sample, we should know about the percentage of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, and the non-combustible matter like ash. Ash మనం consideration లో తీసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదండి, ప్రాబ్లంలో మనకి ఇస్తాం. Based on that, we can identify higher calorific value and as well as lower calorific value. We can calculate gross calorific value and as well as lower calorific value. And the gross calorific value is identified based on the formula 1/100 into 80 into percentage of carbon, 34,500 into percentage of hydrogen minus percentage of oxygen by 8, 20 to 40 into percentage of sulfur. Right? Now the value indicating that it is going to be the HCV. LCV is equals to the series HCV minus 0.09 into percentage of hydrogen into latent heat of steam, that is equals to 587. Based on